Our first question comes from Ed Owens of the Dominion Post.
Hey, Dana, I know you said it wasn't all on Ford in Saturday's game, but after just 2 starts, what gives you the confidence in him to say that he is your guy going forward?
Second, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, second game, there's when we named him a week ago, we said there's going to be some bumps in the road with him. Anytime you're playing an inexperienced quarterback, I mean, that's going to be the case. His mentality didn't change on the sidelines. Was good to see that. He's a hard worker. He's going to get out there. He's going to work hard this week, and he's just going to try and get better at being, and improving his craft, which is distributing the ball as good as he possibly can, getting us in the right run checks, and handling the leadership role on the sidelines, which I think will get better and better each and every game.
And for some other teams, I mean, they do consider multiple options at quarterback. It's something you said in the preseason you guys wouldn't do, and it seems like it's been important to you to establish somebody in that role and make sure everyone kind of had a defined idea of what their role was. Can you talk about that a little bit and why that is so important for what you guys do?
Yeah, I would think everybody would want an established guy at quarterback. I mean, it's what everybody does. I mean, I think people play different quarterbacks when the different quarterbacks bring something different to the table. And the 3 guys that we have are all, they're all pocket guys. They're not option guys. You look at Oklahoma State and following them pretty closely, and Coach Gundy knows a thing or two about quarterbacks in his own right, but the guys that they've played, I mean, they got guys that bring something different to the table. What J.W. Walsh brings to the table is different than what Clint Chelf brings to the table. Last year when they had all 3 of them, they played 3 different guys because they had to with injuries, which is something that's unfortunate. But I think everybody would want to settle on one guy, which is exactly what Oklahoma State's done. They've settled on J.W., and he's a tremendous football player.
Thanks.
Our next question comes from Robert Allen of Triple Play Sports.
How you doing?
Good, Robert. How are you?
I'm okay. You had a chance to review the tape. How much of it right now in your mind is on the offensive line, and how quickly can you make some of the corrections and get the offensive line up where they're doing their share of the load?
Oh man, there's plenty of blame to go around. I mean, I'm the one. The one that can be blamed more than anybody is me. That's for dang sure. I mean, that's not an acceptable performance. You got to give Maryland some credit. I think they're a pretty good team. I think they're really good on defense. They gave us fits last year. When we had all these good players running around and a lot of experience. They gave us a bunch of fits last year, so I give them a tremendous amount of credit. With that said, I got to do a better job of coaching them. We got to get guys in position to be able to execute what we're asking them to do. That's not happening very much, so I'm not pointing the finger at anybody but myself. We're gonna coach them harder this week. We're gonna get them more prepared to play. It's gonna be a challenge now. I mean, we know a lot about Oklahoma State, as you well know, and they know a lot about us as far as what we're trying to get accomplished. So. I just got to do a better job, and if I do a better job, then the rest of the guys will do a better job as well.
You mentioned the intimate knowledge. What does that do to a matchup when you know somebody? I mean, you've been on the practice field with Glenn Spencer and a lot of those defensive coaches. What does that do to the matchup when you know somebody better? Well,
you can overthink it, and the one thing I think Coach Gundy does a good job of is not overthinking it. They know us, we know them. Are there going to be specific times where they get a tip on what we're going to call? Probably. Are they going to be able to potentially pick a signal? Maybe, but so are we. Are we going to find some tips and be able to execute, get those guys where we're stopped? No, I think that's probably going to happen. It happens every week in the Big 12, though, if you look at it. I mean, everybody knows each other. I mean, when we played Oklahoma, nobody knew them, but nobody knew us better than Oklahoma. Nobody knew Oklahoma better than us. Same thing when Oklahoma and Oklahoma State play. It's going to be the same thing when us and Texas Tech play, or Texas Tech and Oklahoma State play. So I think you can overthink it. The biggest thing is just getting your guys out there and letting them play.
Thanks, Dana.
All right, buddy.
Our next question comes from Stephen Hawkins of the Associated Press.
Dan, I know obviously you've already played a conference game. You're going to be the first team to play 2 conference games. But how different are things now that you're into that? You'll be into that weekly grind of conference games.
Obviously every game counts, but in the non-conference slate, those games count too. You want to put your best foot forward when it comes to conference games. There's no question, but last week against Maryland, that meant something too. And unfortunately we didn't play very good. I didn't coach very good. I'm gonna do a lot better job of getting these guys prepared to play. But that game against Maryland meant something to us, and it meant something to Maryland. Now that we're in Big 12 play, each and every one of them count. Want to do a better job this week than we did last week.
All right. Thanks, Dana.
Our next question comes from David Ubben of Fox Sports Southwest.
Dana, the lack of production at quarterback, is that really just experience, or do you see bigger issues there, or what are you kind of looking at there?
Yeah, I see bigger issues. There's obviously some things that Ford can do to improve on what his performance was. When Paul was in there were some things that I think he could have done that can improve his performance. The bigger issue is me. I got to do a better job of getting these guys prepared to play. I've got to do a better job of calling plays. I've got to do a better job of all 3 sides of the ball. Getting motivated and prepared to play. I didn't do a very good job of that last week, so it's going to start with me, and I'm going to do a better job of it this week.
Well, what can you do, and what can Ford do to get more production?
Well, I got to get these guys where they're getting out there and they're playing a little looser. I think we're playing pretty uptight. You can't go out there and be scared to make a mistake, and that's a mentality that needs to exist. And if it doesn't exist with me and it exists with the majority of our team, then the finger comes right back at me. So what each and every one of these guys got to do is they got to go to work every day, and they got to try to be a little bit better than they were yesterday. That's all we can ask them to do, and that's what we need to do today.
Thanks.
Our next question comes from Kevin Lytle of the Austin American-Statesman.
Dana, could you see maybe emphasizing the run game a bit more, or having at least some slight change in philosophy?
Well, our offensive philosophy has remained the same for about 15 straight years, so I doubt that's going to change any more than it has. There's always an evolution of what you're trying to get accomplished on offense. We have spent a lot of time in the run game, and will continue to do so. Our yards per play in the run game is not bad, and it can always improve, but it's not bad. I think the bigger problems with what we're doing offensively, we're not executing the pass game like we should. I've been saying that since day one. It's still a work in progress. We gotta coach them a little bit better. We got to get them out there. We got to get them to relax and go play. I like where our team is. We just got to get out there and do a little bit better job.
I noticed that there weren't any wide receivers who had more than one catch, so I'm guessing that's a big point of emphasis.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get receivers the ball. That's why they call them receivers, is so they can catch a ball every now and then, and we're pretty inept at that. But that's nothing on them. They're working hard. We got guys that want to play. We got guys that are in position. We're not clicking, and that falls 100% on me. I'm not pointing the finger at anybody other than me. We got to coach them better. We got to get back out there to work, and we got to execute like we know how to do.
Okay, thanks.